Hello, hello, good day, good day. I hope you're well. Wherever you are, good morning, evening, afternoon. My name is Odessa, and in today's episode, I wanted to talk with you about how to have lifelong self care and feminine healing for generations to come. So, if you're just joining, we are talking about how to have lifelong self care and feminine healing for generations to come in this episode. So, I want to begin by saying that women come to me for natural wound healing techniques because what they've tried usually isn't working. And what I've been able to create has worked for many women. You might be here because you've spoken to doctors, specialists, you've had conversations with other therapists, and you still may not have the answers. Most doctors are trained medically, right? And therapists don't go too deep into the healing aspect that you might be looking for. So we can't necessarily blame them because the backdrop, the context that they're approaching medicine with is coming from a very scientifical, very logical, and very analytical perspective. And I'm not just doing this for others. I'm not just doing this work for others. I've done this for myself after suffering in silence for so long. Women, especially Black women, need to have alternative methods for healing their wounds. We as Black women have a very specific trauma that we're living out here, right? When we think about how trauma is carried from mother to child, how it's formed in the body, how it's maintained, how it's perpetuated, right? And this is just looking at it genetically. We haven't even touched on, the family, the community, and social economic aspects at large. Out here, we're lusted. We're the most lusted after. We are the most copied. We are the most loathed group, and we are also the most demeaned. Okay. Now, you can let me know if I'm wrong, but this is what I've observed. This is what I've experienced. We need a self-care, self-love program to get us on track and get our legacies in order by cleaning up our unhealthy, sometimes trauma-induced habits so we can invite more love into our lives by being who we are and not what we think we should be. And this is the world over, very much caught up on who we think we should be and not existing in the space of who we actually are. Hospitals are not safe spaces for everyone. Hey, I hope you're well. They're very, very helpful as trauma and crises, institutions, as places for deep research when we have problems that we cannot understand, but they're not the best place for everyone. And those who really want to use holistic medicine and want an in depth, more comprehensive approach will love this process that I've created. I personally hate to see women struggle to discover who to trust. Okay, especially when it comes to in the medical institutions, when it comes to working with people of authority, when you have to place your well being, your whole well being in the hands of others. You need to know who to trust and how to see those signs, right? How to vet your spiritual therapist, because we all know online there are a lot of people who are trying to make a buck from you, who are trying to create, business by creating lies and really just, throwing people for a loop. I don't like to see women struggle how to speak to doctors and take back their authority. A lot of conversations that I have with women, especially postpartum, um, and women who are working with fertility clinics who tell me about their stories, their experiences where the doctors were not listening to them, the doctors were not taking their suggestions, and after X amount of time, the doctors have then said that, what they initially thought was actually the truth. And, postpartum moms are crying because, the experience that they've had, they didn't speak up or they felt as though they weren't heard. And so it's just, it's very heartbreaking, heart wrenching, gut wrenching, very painful to listen to women feel as though they're not heard, and that they have to struggle to navigate their own health problems to maintain equilibrium without synthetic pharmaceutical drugs. And this is the norm because, as I mentioned earlier, the doctors in the systems, they're trained through a scientific model, and so the medicine that they're going to provide you is synthetic. And whereas it will mask the symptoms, it isn't going to address the root problems, right? And so when it comes to, understanding your own body autonomy, this is important. And then when I see women struggling about finding their purpose, struggling to lean in and rely on who they are and what they know themselves to be. Seeing women struggle with how to boldly find themselves in spite of what everyone else is saying or doing. This is a regular thing that I'm seeing, and it's about, for me, it's about tradition versus evolution, right? Tradition is what has been upheld. Tradition based off of this Gregorian calendar, very, very specific, is what is being perpetuated. We can see that the calendar is unfolding itself right now. And this is a tradition that is based upon power and greed. It isn't based upon natural healing and evolution, right? This is not what this is about. And so this training is specific for women who are experiencing, womb health issues, and more specifically, doulas, labor and delivery nurses, health practitioners who are interested in raising their own self-care, and learning how to navigate this process with their clients using my 3-phase womb cleanse protocol. And this work helps you to integrate womb healing techniques, learn feminine energy and holistic medicine, and integrate this into your daily practice without the hassle of the do it yourself learning curve or multiple trainings, because we know that this is what it is. You've got to learn a little bit from here and take a little bit from over there and bring it back to here and circle around. And then you kind of start to see where the pieces come together. And so this is really about not having the hassle of the DIY curve. And so I want to share a little bit about what's happened to some of my clients when they enter into the program. Usually by the time they get about the halfway point in the program. And so my give thanks for this love. And so my client E, she came into the program and she was suffering from a lot of different symptoms, potential diagnoses that were unclear, but we can see that there were some clear patterns that were happening. There was some insomnia, um, painful cramps, a lot of tender breasts, emotional mood swings, lots of inner frustrations, inner emotional frustrations, about her state of being and how she was able to address her personal issues and gain clarity in, processing her life situations. She was also experiencing long and irregular cycles, as well as acne, and waking up tired in the morning. And this is, these were some of the symptoms that she was presenting. And this is one particular client, but I see these patterns and these symptoms regularly. I see these, I hear them regularly, I see them regularly, and we walk through this during the program. And so within the 90 days that we've been working together, she's been sleeping full nights, waking up with energy, shorter cycles, no dark clots, no brown blood. A lot of the stiffness has gone away in her body and in her joints. The acne is clearing up, actually dreaming more. So whereas there was no sleep, there is sleep plus more dreams, taking deeper breaths, like, to hear people say that they are consciously, actively, and intentionally taking deeper breaths while walking through this program is such a beautiful, beautiful testament of the work that we've been doing together. I'm more aware, feeling more aware and intentional when answering and not getting into arguments or responding when angry. And so these are some of the results that she's been getting, and as well as giving herself more grace. And so this particular client has had a very deep womb awakening within herself, as a woman, as well as being a dark-skinned woman. And being a dark-skinned woman, being a woman and a dark-skinned woman, you, like I mentioned, there are particular traits and traumas that we carry, without even realizing that we're doing this. And so she realized she was spending a lot of time negating herself and her abilities because of her skin tone, right? And after we started the womb phase journey, when we started getting deeper into the feminine flow, the second phase of the journey, this is when she began to get her breakthrough and turned on her badass light. And that's the power of the work that I've been doing. Give thanks for that, love. And I'm extremely passionate about this, and I want this for you. And I know that you want it too. And if you've been needing healing, then I want to invite you to click on the link in my bio and get started on your own healing journey, because I am ready to welcome in. Doors are open for the practitioners self-care and feminine healing program. And no, you don't need to be a practitioner to join the program, but you do need to want to heal womb wellness, womb issues, womb problems, hormonal imbalance that you yourself are experiencing. And maybe, and it would be a plus if you do want to support the women in your community, because you will learn how you do this work on yourself and how to support those around you if you so choose. And so I'm just here guiding the women, doing the work, spreading the love, living in the purpose of, teaching women how to heal and cleanse generationally and create more equilibrium and balance in our lives. So, we can just be the peace that we so desire as we walk and trod daily on the soil here on Mama Earth. So I want to bid you all a wonderful day, evening, afternoon. If you are catching the replay, hashtag replay, and let me know that you've been here. Let me know below what your takeaways are, and I will make sure to respond to them. I wish you all a great evening. Take care.